Which act of British Parliament abolished the East India Company monopoly over trade in India? Option A. Regulating Act. Option B. Quits India Act. Option C. Charter Act of 1813. Option D. None of the above. Answer is Charter Act of 1830. Option C. Question. By which of the following Act Legislative Council of India received the power to discuss the budget? Option A. Indian Council Act 1861. Option B. Indian Council Act 1892. Option C. Indian Council Act 1909. Option D. Indian Council Act 1919. Answer is B. Indian Council Act 1892. Question. In which of the following acts the provision was made for the establishment of a Supreme Court at Calcutta? Option A. Regulating Act 1773. Option B. Pitt's India Act 1784. Option C. Charter Act 1813. Option D. Charter Act 1833. Answer is Regulating Act 1773. Question. With reference to the establishment of Supreme Court, which of the following statement are correct? 1. Supreme Court at Calcutta was established by the Regulating Act of 1773. Second, the Master was the first Chief Justice of this court. Select correct answer using codes given below. Option A, 1 only. Option B, 2 only. Option C, both 1 and 2. Option D, neither 1 nor 2. Answer is option A 1 only. Question. The Federal Court of India was established in which of the following year? Option A 1935, Option B 1937, Option C 1946, Option D 1947. Answer is option B 1937. Question. Which act gave permission to English missionaries to work in India? Option A Regulating Act 1773. Option B Pitt's India Act 1784. Option C Charter Act 1813. Option D Charter Act 1833. Answer is Charter Act 1813. Question. In the context of Indian history, the principle of diarchy refers to A. Division of central legislature into two houses. B. Introduction of double government, that is central and state governments. C. Having two sets of rulers, one in London and another in Delhi. D. Division of subjects delegated to the provinces into two categories. Answer is D. Division of subjects delegated to the provinces into two categories. Question. The Federal Court of India was established in which of the following year? A. 1935, B. 1937, C. 1946, D. 1947. Answer is B. 1937. Which act established Board of Control? Option A Regulating Act 1773. Option B Pitt's India Act 1784. Option C Charter Act 1813. Option D Charter Act 1833. Answer is Pitt's India Act 1784. Question. Which act gave permission to English missionary to work in India? Option A Regulating Act 1773. Option B, Pitt's India Act 1794. Option C, Charter Act 1813. Option D, Charter Act 1833. Answer is option C, Charter Act 1813. Question. Which act provided appointment of a law member in a Governor General's Council? Option A, Regulating Act 1773. Option B, Pitt's India Act 1784. Option C, Charter Act 1813. Option D, Charter Act 1833. Answer is option D, Charter Act 1833. Question. Under which of the following acts diarchy was introduced at central level? Option A, Indian Council Act 1909. Option B, Government of India Act 1919. Option C, Government of India Act 1935. Option D, Indian Independence Act 1947. Answer is option C, Government of India Act 1935. Question. The Indian Council Act 1909 was associated with introduction of separate electorate, decentralization, diarchy, legislative councils. Answer is option A, introduction of separate electorate. Which of the following is are the principal features of the Government of India Act 1919? 1. The introduction of diarchy in the executive government of the provinces. 2. The introduction of separate communal electorates for Muslims. 3. Devolution of legislative authority by the center to the provinces. A. Only 1. B. 2 and 3 only. C. 1 and 3 only. D. 1, 2 and 3. Answer is C. 1 and 3 only. Consider the following statements. 1. The Montague-Chelmsford Reform of 1919 recommended granting voting rights to all the women above the age of 21. 2. The Government of India Act of 1935 gave women reserved seats in legislature. Which of the statements given above is are correct? A. 1 only. B. 2 only. C. Both 1 and 2. D. Neither 1 nor 2. Answer is option B. 2 only. Question. The Indian legislature was made bicameral for the first time by A. Indian Council Act of 1892. B. Indian Council Act of 1909. C. Government of India Act 1919. D. The Government of India Act of 1935. Answer is option C. Government of India Act of 1919. Question. The power of the President to issue ordinance is a relic of A. Government of India Act 1919. B. Government of India Act 1935. C. Indian Councils Act 1909. D. Indian Independence Act 1947. Answer is option B. Government of India Act 1935. Question: which act for the first time made it possible for Indians to take some share in the administration of their country? Option A, Government of India Act 1919. Option B, Government of India Act 1935. Option C, Indian Council Act 1909. Option D, Charter Act 1833. Answer is Charter Act 1833. Option D. Question: the distribution of power between center and states, as in the Constitution of India, is based on which of the following plans? Option A, Government of India Act 1919. Option B, Government of India Act 1935. Option C, Indian Councils Act 1909. Option D, Charter Act 1833. Answer is option B, Government of India Act 1935. Question: a federal system and diarchy at the center was introduced in India by A, Government of India Act 1919. B, Government of India Act 1935. C, Indian Councils Act 1909. D, Charter Act 1833. Answer is option B, Government of India Act 1935. Question: the provision for the establishment of All India Federation was included in the Government of India Act 1935. Option A. Option B, August of 1940. Option C, Government of India Act 1919. Option D, Cabinet Mission Proposal 1946. Answer is option A, Government of India Act 1935. Question: in the federation established under the Act of 1935, the residuary powers were given to the option A, Federal Legislature. Option B, Provincial Legislature. Option C, Governor General. Option D, Provincial Governor. Answer is option C, Governor General. Question: why is the Government of India Act 1935 important? Option A, it is the main source of Constitution of India. Option B, it gave independence to India. Option C, it envisages partition of India. Option D, it abolished the native states. Answer is A, it is the main source of the Constitution of India. Question: which one of the following acts led to the separation of Burma from India? Option A, Indian Councils Act 1909. Option B, Government of India Act 1919. Option C, Government of India Act 1935. Option C, Indian Independence Act 1947. Answer is option C, Government of India Act 1935. Question: the proposal for framing of the Constitution of India by an elected Constituent Assembly was made by option A, Simon Commission. Option B, Government of India Act 1935. Option C, Cripps Mission. Option D, British cabinet delegation? Answer is option C, Cripps mission. Question. The objective of Ilbert Bill in reference to colonial rule in India was to bring Indians and Europeans at equal status as far as the penal jurisdiction of the courts was concerned. Question. As per Cabinet Mission Plan, in the Constituent Assembly, to decide allotted members' seat in each province, one representative was in ratio to which population? Options: A. 8 lakh, B. 10 lakh, C. 12 lakh, D. 15 lakh. Answer is option B, 10 lakh, that is 1 million. Question. Indian Constituent Assembly was established under A. Government of India Act 1935, B. Cripps Mission 1942, C. Cabinet Mission 1946, D. Indian Independence Act 1947. Answer is C. Cabinet Mission 1946. Question. In the interim government formed in 1946, the Vice President of the Executive Council was option A. Jawaharlal Nehru, option B. Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, option C. C. Rajagopalachari, option D. Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Answer is option A. Jawaharlal Nehru. Assertion. According to the Wavell Plan, the number of Hindu and Muslim members in the Executive Council was to be equal. Reason: Wavell thought that this arrangement would have avoided the partition of India. Answer: A is true or is false. Question. Who gave the idea of a constituent assembly firstly for the formation of constitution for India? Option A, Swaraj Party. Option B, Congress Party. Option C, Muslim League. Option D, All Parties Conference in 1946. Answer is option A, Swaraj Party in 1934. Which of the following statements are true in relation to Constituent Assembly? 1. Assembly was based on adult suffrage. 2. The assembly was the result of direct election. 3. Assembly was a multi-party body. 4. Assembly worked through various committees. Option A 1 and 2. Option B 2 and 3. Option C 3 and 4. Option D 1, 2, 3, 4. Answer is option C 3 and 4 is correct. Question. Member of Constituent Assembly who drafted the Constitution of India were nominated by British Parliament A. B. Nominated by Governor General. C. Elected by legislative assemblies of various provinces. D. Elected by Indian National Congress and Muslim League. Answer is option C. Elected by legislative assemblies of various provinces. Question: how many sessions of the Indian Constituent Assembly were conducted for the formulation of Indian Constitution? Option A 9, B 7, C 12, D 15. Answer is option C 12. How much time the Constituent Assembly took to frame the Constitution of India? 2 years 11 months 18 days, 2 years 7 months 23 days, 3 years 4 months 14 days, 3 years 11 months 5 days. Answer is option A 2 years 11 months 18 days. The only Congress member of drafting committee. Option A H.C. Mukherjee, option B K.M. Munshi, option C V.T. Krishnamachari, option D Jawaharlal Nehru. Answer is option B K.M. Munshi. Who among the following was the chairman of the Union Constitution Committee of the Constituent Assembly? Option A H.C. Mukherjee, option B K.M. Munshi, option C V.T. Krishnamachari, option D Jawaharlal Nehru. Answer is option D Jawaharlal Nehru. Who among the following was the chairman of the steering committee of the Constituent Assembly? Option A H.C. Mukherjee, option B K.M. Munshi, option C V.T. Krishnamachari, option D Rajendra Prasad. Answer is option D Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Who among the following was the chairman of the drafting committee of the Constituent Assembly? Option A H.C. Mukherjee, option B K.M. Munshi, option C B.R. Ambedkar, option C Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Answer is option C B.R. Ambedkar. Who was the chairman of Advisory Committee on Fundamental Rights and Minorities constituted by the Constituent Assembly? Option A Pandit Nehru, option B Sardar Patel, option C B.N. Rao, option D B.R. Ambedkar. Answer is option B Sardar Patel. Who was the chairman of the Provincial Constitution Committee of the Constituent Assembly? Option A H.C. Mukherjee, option B K.M. Munshi, option C B.R. Ambedkar, option D Sardar Patel. Answer is option D Sardar Patel. Who among the following was the chairman of the States Committee of Constituent Assembly? Option A H.C. Mukherjee, option B K.M. Munshi, option C B.R. Ambedkar, option D Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Answer is Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Question: who was the first elected chairman of Constituent Assembly? Option A Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, option B Dr. Sachidanand Sinha, option C Dr. Rajendra Prasad, option D Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. Answer is option C Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Question: who chaired the first meeting of Constituent Assembly? Option A Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, option B Dr. Sachidanand Sinha, option C Dr. Rajendra Prasad, option D Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. Answer is option B, Dr. Sachidanand Sinha. Question. Constituent Assembly of India was established on option A, 10 June 1946, option B, 9 December 1946, option C, 26 November 1949, option D, 26 December 1949. Answer is option B, 9 December 1946. Question. The first session of Constituent Assembly was held on option A, 10 June 1946, option B, 9 December 1946, option C, 26 November 1949, option D, 26 December 1949. Answer is option B, 9 December 1946. Question. Who of the following presented the objectives resolution? Option A, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Option B, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Option C, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Option D, C.D. Deshmukh. Answer is option B, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. The tradition of written constitution began from which of the following country? Option A, Japan. Option B, India. Option C, Britain. Option D, America. Answer is option D, America. Who was the first nominated Deputy Chairman of Constituent Assembly? Option A, T.T. Krishnamachari. Option B, V.T. Krishnamachari. Option C, H.C. Mukherjee. Option D, Frank Anthony. Answer is option D, Frank Anthony. The concept of fundamental duties has been taken from option A, USA. Option B, Russia. Option C, Australia. Option D, England. Answer is option B, Russia. The idea of procedure established by law is taken from country A, USA. B, Japan. C, Australia. D, England. Answer is option B, Japan. The idea of reserving of bill by governor for president's consideration taken from country option A, USA. Option B, Canada. Option C, Australia. Option D, England. Answer is option B, Canada. The concept of rule of law was taken from which country? Option A, USA. Option B, Canada. Option C, Australia. Option D, England. Answer is option D, England. The idea of residual powers of center was borrowed from which country? Option A, USA. Option B, Canada. Option C, Australia. Option D, Russia. Answer is option C, Australia. The idea of emergency provisions was borrowed from which country? USA, Canada, Germany, Russia. Answer is option C, Germany. The idea of parliamentary system was borrowed from which country? USA, Canada, UK, Russia. Answer is C, UK. The concept of the directive principles of state policy in the Indian Constitution has been adopted from the Constitution of France, Ireland, Japan, USSR. Answer is B. Ireland. The idea of fundamental rights was borrowed from the Constitution of USA, Canada, Britain, Russia. Answer is option A. USA. In giving representation to talent, experience, and service in the composition of the Council of States, the constitution makers of India were influenced by the example of A. France, B. Ireland, C. Japan, D. USSR. Answer is option B. Ireland. Concurrent list included in the Indian Constitution is given by A. Soviet Union, B. Australia, C. Italy, D. Canada. Answer is option B. Australia. The Indian parliamentary system is different from the British parliamentary system in that India has A. Both a real and a nominal executive, B. A system of collective responsibility, C. Bicameral legislature, D. The system of judicial review. Answer is D. The system of judicial review. The feature of federal system of the Indian Constitution is inspired by the Constitution of Canada, UK, USA, Ireland. Answer is option A. Canada. The concept of judicial review in India has been adopted from the Constitution of A. Italy, B. Canada, C. France, D. USA. Answer is D. USA. The idea of the preamble has been borrowed in Indian Constitution from the Constitution of A. Italy, B. Canada, C. France, D. USA. Answer is D. USA. Who said India is a quasi-federal state? A. Lord Brass, B. Ivor Jennings, C. H. Lusky, D. Casey Ware. Answer is D. Casey Ware. Who was the president of the Indian National Congress at the time of partition of India? A. J.B. Kripalani, B. Jawaharlal Nehru, C. Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, D. C. Rajgopalachari. Answer is A. J.B. Kripalani. Assertion: India is a democratic country. Reason: India has a constitution of its own. Answer is option B. Both A and R are true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. Statements: The discussion in the third roundtable conference eventually led to the passing of the Government of India Act 1935. The Government of India Act 1935 provided for establishment of an All India Federation to be based on a union of provinces of British India and the princely states. Choose the correct statements. Answer is C. Both 1 and 2 are correct. The state emblem was adopted by Government of India on date 24 January 1950, 22nd January 1947, 26 January 1950, 26 January 1947. Answer is option C. 26 January 1950. In which year was Jana Gana Mana adopted as the national anthem of India? 24 January 1950, 22nd January 1947, 26 January 1950, 26 January 1947. Answer is option A, 24th January 1950. Constitution Day of India is celebrated on 26 October, 26 November, 26 January, 15 August. Answer is option B, 26 November. January 26th was selected as the date for inauguration of the Constitution because the Congress had observed it as the Independence Day in 1930. B. On that day, the Quit India movement was started in 1942. C. It was considered to be an auspicious day. D. None of the above. Answer is A. The Congress had observed it as the Independence Day in 1930. Indian Constitution was adopted by the Constituent Assembly on A. 26 November 1949, B. 15 August 1949, C. 2 October 1949, D. 15 November 1949. Answer is option A. 26 November 1949. The design of the national flag was adopted by the Constituent Assembly of India on 22nd July 1947. The ratio of the width of national flag to its length is 2:3. Which above statements are correct? A 1 and 2, B 1 only, C 2 and 3, D 2. Answer is A 1 and 2. Both are correct. When did the Constituent Assembly adopted the national flag? A 22nd July, B 23rd July, C 25th July, D 15 August. Answer is A 22nd July 1947. Who was the constitutional advisor at the time of the formation of Constitution? A. Dr. B. R. Ambedkar, B. Dr. Rajendra Prasad, C. B. N. Rao, D. K. M. Munshi. Answer is C. B. N. Rao.